What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic: Abel Sanchez makes shocking statement. Hagler and Mayweather never fought Hall of Famers. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Canelo threw a left hook to the body that Crawford blocked, went for the head control, and responded with a short uppercut. Canelo followed with a right to the body that Crawford blocked again, countering with another uppercut, then blinding Canelo with his lead hand to stab him in the body with a left hand. Canelo responded with a left body shot that Crawford turned slightly so it hit his back, and countered with a left hand. He pushed Canelo to create distance and got off his uppercut before Canelo could even land his right to the body. Crawford rolled the oncoming left hook to the body and countered with a four-punch combination, as he blocked Canelo's right hand before pivoting away. Boxing genius.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak.
On my life.
And he stayed at 147.
You would not stop
too long.
me. You would not stop me.
Okay.
You crazy. You quit smoking on. Asmir, hey.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That's life before Richard, huh? And I got the glitzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans, let's talk some boxing. All right, so Abel Sanchez is out there talking reckless again. He made a couple of statements that Mayweather and Marvin Hagler didn't fight any Hall of Famers. And he said that in response to racist Ryan Garcia saying that Triple G does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And as you all know, Abel Sanchez was Triple G's trainer. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time, people. I'm just going to go straight to the videotape, and we're going to listen to what Abel Sanchez had to say. Here we go.
Canelo threw a left hook to the body that...
So.
Ryan Garcia will never be on a level where Gennady got to. Second of all, Marvin Hagler never moved up in weight. And who did Marvin fight? All the guys that Gennady fought were not only top contenders.
Okay, so you hear what he just said. In a derisive manner, who did Marvin fight? We're talking about Marvin Hagler, one of the greatest middleweight champions of all time. And this is what Abel Sanchez is saying about Marvin Hagler. So let's let him continue.
Or ex-world champions or champions, and he had 20 defenses. He tied Bernard's record. So I think you have to consider the source. I think that there's a lot of haters out there in every sport, and I seriously believe Gennady deserves to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. Would you say that Wally Romero is a Hall of Famer? No, he knocked Ryan out. Would you say that Tank Davis is a Hall of Famer yet? No, yet he knocked Ryan out. So what base does he have? Knowledgeable base does he have to be able to say what he's saying?
Okay, so there it is. So as you can see, Abel Sanchez is quite delusional. Okay, now he said that Triple G made 20 title defenses, and he fought champions or ex-champions and the like, and then he derisively said in a disdainful manner, "Who did Marvin fight?" We're talking about marvelous Marvin Hagler. Okay, so this is what Abel Sanchez is out there spewing this nonsense, right? Now, this is not the first time we've heard Abel Sanchez talk a lot of nonsense. He said the same thing. He was talking foolishness before the Crawford Canelo fight. He was still saying the same nonsense about Crawford before the Spence and Crawford fight. So at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, does this guy, who is Abel Sanchez, and what does he really know anything about boxing? I mean, to make such a statement. So I'm not even gonna. We're gonna go to the receipts, people, because this is crazy what this guy is saying. So we have to go to the receipts, and we're gonna look at these guys' record, and see exactly how many title defenses did Triple G have, right? So first and foremost, let's take a look at Triple G, right? Boom. Now, in terms of Triple G's title defenses, right? Before we even get to it, before we even get to his championship championship that he held, let's take a look at his title defenses. You know, according to what uh, Abel Sanchez said, he had 20 title defenses. But when we look at his record, we see that here it's telling us that excluding his IBO and interim title defenses, okay, which is, you know, which Abel Sanchez is counting. He's counting interim title defenses, okay, and the IBO, which is not a recognized sanctioning body. But let's read what it says here. Excluding the IBO interim title defenses, Gennady Golovkin officially made 16 recognized title defenses of major world titles. Okay, did you see that? 16. Okay, WBA, WBC, and full IBF titles. So it's saying here excluding his IBO and interim title defenses. So you know, Abel Sanchez is saying that he had 20 title defenses. So he added 4 more title defenses to Triple G's record. Why? Because he's counting interim titles, not full world titles. Okay? So he's basically what they call, he's padding Triple G's record. Okay? Now let's continue with the receipts. He originally won the WBA interim title, then the WBA regular, and was elevated to WBA super champion, simultaneously picking up the IBF middleweight title in 2015 and later the WBC full title in 2016 after Canelo Alvarez vacated the title. So basically, he was elevated to these titles. He didn't win any of these titles in the ring. I'm talking about the official world titles. He was elevated to WBO to WBC, and he was also elevated to WBA because he was the interim champion, and then he was raised up, elevated to a vacant title, basically. Okay, so Triple G never actually fought for his actual world titles. Okay, he was elevated to those titles. Okay, all right. So let's look at it. Gennady Golovkin was elevated from interim to world championship status twice in his career. He first won the WBA interim middleweight title in 2010 by defeating Milton Nunes. Later, after Canelo Alvarez vacated the WBC middleweight title in 2016, Golovkin was elevated from WBC interim champion to full WBC middleweight champion. The elevation occurred again for the WBA. He was promoted to WBA super champion after previous WBA regular titles he held was upgraded. So there it is. All right. So Triple G only had actually 16 world title defenses of major world titles, and he was elevated to the WBA and the WBC titles. He didn't actually win those titles in a fight or in the ring. Basically, he was emailed those titles. Okay, so those are the facts, people. Now, let's take a look at Bernard Hopkins. Okay, boom. Bernard Hopkins made a total of 20 official title defenses in his career as a world middleweight champion under the major sanctioning bodies IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO. So here we're seeing that not only does Bernard Hopkins have 20 title defenses, he was never elevated to any of those titles. He won them all in the ring. Okay? He fought for those titles. He wasn't elevated to any of his titles that he had. Okay? Those are the facts. So when Abel Sanchez is out there talking reckless, saying that, He tied Bernard Hopkins' record of title defenses. It's actually a half truth, and I'm trying to be generous. Okay, I don't want to just come out and call the man a liar. Okay, but the facts speak for themselves. So there's no comparison between these two fighters. Okay, Bernard Hopkins fought for all his titles, and he had over 20 title defenses. And I mean, he also had the IBO title, if you want to count that. So did Triple G, because that's what they're counting with Triple G. They're counting his IBO titles, they're counting his interim titles to say he had over 20 title defenses. Okay, this is what they're doing, and this is what Abel Sanchez is doing. Now, you didn't see it in this video because the original video that was here was pulled. It was pulled from Marcus Viegas' website. I guess he pulled that video after he got a lot of pushback about what Abel Sanchez was saying. So he pulled that video, and he only left the video you just saw up there on his channel. So you're not going to see the original video where Abel Sanchez was talking even more reckless, saying that Mayweather didn't fight in the Hall of Famers or Marvin Hagler didn't fight in the Hall of Famers. Okay, because again, he's trying to defend Golovkin, because racist Ryan Garcia said that Golovkin doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, whether Golovkin deserves to be in the Hall of Fame or not, that's neither here nor there. I mean, shout out to Golovkin, great champion. But at the end of the day, you can't compare him to people like Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, and Mayweather. You just can't. He's not in that category. He's not at that upper level, that upper echelon. Okay, those are the facts. Nothing against Golovkin. He did great. But you can't really compare him to these guys. Okay, and we're going to show more facts and more receipts. All right. So let's take a look at Hall of Fame. Okay, let's take a look at the Hall of Fame. They say Abel Sanchez said that Mayweather and Marvin Hagler didn't fight in the Hall of Famers. Okay, let's take a look at Triple G's Hall of Fame fight. So according to this, Gennady Golovkin fought 2 confirmed international boxing Hall of Famers during his professional career. Sergio Martinez, a highly acclaimed former two-weight world champion, another great fighter, Sergio Martinez. So he fought Sergio Martinez, and Sergio Martinez is currently in the Hall of Fame. Then they give you Daniel Jacobs. While not yet in the Hall of Fame, he's widely regarded as a Hall of Fame caliber and is expected to be inducted eventually, though as of now, not officially inducted. So basically, Triple G has only fought one person that's in the Hall of Fame right now, okay, currently. Now, he fought other opponents, like they said here, Daniel Jacobs, right? And he also fought Alvarez, and, eventually Alvarez is going to get inducted. He fought Kell Brook, who would probably get inducted as well, okay? So if you count, so let's say we're going to count those guys, right? Let's say we're going to count Alvarez and we're going to count Kell Brook, even though they're not officially inducted yet. So we're looking at 4 Hall of Famers maximum that Triple G has fought in his career. And again, there's no guarantee that Kell Brook is going to be inducted. We don't know. But for sure, more or less, Triple G will be inducted. I'm more than likely Kell Brook as well. Okay? So there it is. So he only had one person that's currently in the Hall of Fame and 3 maybes. Well, maybe, we could say Canelo will definitely be inducted. So let's give him 2. Let's be generous. Give him 2 and 2 maybes, right? Okay, great. Let's look at Hopkins Hall of Fame compared to, even though he didn't say Hopkins didn't fight in the Hall of Fame, but he did say Mayweather didn't fight in the Hall of Famers, right? So let's look at Floyd first. Let's look at Floyd Hall of Fame fight. Floyd Mayweather fought a total of 10 opponents who are inducted in the into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. These Hall of Famers include Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton, Diego Corrales, Shane Mosley, Horace Luis Castillo, Marcus Maidana, and Zab Judah. Mayweather defeated all of these fighters during his unbeaten professional career, and they represent some of the most elite competition he faced across multiple weight classes. The collection of Hall of Famers highlights Mayweather's caliber of opposition is part of the reason he's regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time. So there it is. So Mayweather, who Abel Sanchez claimed never fought any Hall of Famers, actually fought 10 Hall of Famers, people that are actually in the Hall of Fame. So at the end of the day, we have to ask a question about this guy, Abel Sanchez. Does he know anything about boxing? I mean, it's incredible when you really think about it, right? So let's take another look now at another guy who said didn't fight in the Hall of Fame, who is Hagler. So let's look at Hagler, okay? Marvelous Marvin Hagler fought against at least 6 fighters who are inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, thus recognized as Hall of Famers, okay? Among them are Alan Minter, Vito Antuofermo, Roberto Durán, Thomas Hearns, Ray Leonard, and John Mugabe, who they used to call the Beast. So he fought at least 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 Hall of Famers, okay? These are 6 confirmed Hall of Famers who Hagler fought during his career. So, what the hell is Abel Sanchez talking? He didn't know all of this. This guy is old enough to have watched all of these fights live. Okay, so he didn't know that these guys fought Hall of Famers. So this is what I'm talking about with Abel Sanchez. The man is delusional. Okay, and those are just the facts. And to go even further, let's take a look at Hopkins Hall of Fame. Okay, Bernard Hopkins fought 9 fighters who are inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. These Hall of Famers include Roy Jones Jr., Oscar De La Hoya, Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Winky Wright, Antonio Tarver, Felix Trinidad, James Toney, and Howard Eastman. 9 Hall of Famers. So while Triple G has only fought 1 confirmed Hall of Famers, Mayweather, Hopkins, and Hagler have fought multiple Hall of Famers during their career. Okay, so these are the facts, people. And to hear a guy like Abel Sanchez, out there talking reckless and defaming these guys, 3 of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing. We're talking about Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, and the marvelous Marvin Hagler. I mean, it's a disgrace. This guy's a disgrace to boxing. Okay, he should come. He should go back on Marcus Villegas' show, our YouTube channel, and make an official apology for this disgraceful talking that he was doing recently. Okay. Now I understand he probably got upset because racist Ryan Garcia was talking about Triple G, and you have to agree with him that you have to look at the source at the end of the day. And Ryan Garcia have no business talking about Hall of Famers or anybody or casting aspersions on anybody. The guy's a racist and a PD cheat, a PED cheat. Okay, that's what he is. So he's in no position to make any criticisms of any fighter, much less a fighter like Triple G. But at the end of the day, facts are facts, okay? And, Abel Sanchez coming out and trying to, basically, disenfranchise these champions, of credit for their accomplishments in boxing is diabolical, okay? And, it's not the first time we have seen this from Abel Sanchez. We saw, before the Crawford fight, how he was talking, before the Spence fight, how he was talking about Crawford. Oh, this, that, the other. Oh, Canelo is going to do this and Canelo is going to do that, So we know he's biased. Okay, at the end of the day. Now, after the Canelo fight, he did eat his words, and to his credit, you know, he ate his words willingly, and he ate it as if he was starving. Okay, so you got to give him credit for that at least. So, Abel Sanchez, listen, man, just shut your mouth, bro. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You need to go back on Vegas, like I said, and apologize to these fighters because what you said was disgraceful, okay? Totally, and, just total, I said, it was a total disgrace. And it made this guy look like a fool at the end of the day, okay? Because I just showed you all of the facts, okay, to show that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And can you imagine being trained by a guy like this? I mean, no wonder Triple G fired him. Supposedly they had, differences about money, but how can a guy like this take your career to the next level? I mean, he's delusional, okay? So, look at the way he was talking about Crawford before they fight. He went on Marcus Vegas and spewed all this nonsense about the fight, oh, this, and talking as a coach, I got to say this, and as a coach, I say that, trying to use his position as a coach to spew nonsense at the end of the day, and made himself look like a fool after the fight, okay? Same thing with Joel Diaz. So sometimes I wonder if these guys have some kind of they get together and have like a little session and decide what they're going to say, because the same thing that Joel Diaz was saying, the same thing that this guy was saying. After 4 rounds, it's gonna be good for 4 rounds, and then after that, Canelo is gonna make it like a sparring match. Okay, so none of that happened, obviously. Okay, so again, this guy Abel Sanchez, obviously, this guy knows nothing about boxing. Okay. I mean, how can you know anything about boxing and talk that nonsense? And just in case, let's take a listen again at what he said, okay? Here we go.
Ryan Garcia will never be on a level where Gennady got to. Second of all, Marvin Hagler never moved up in weight. And who did Marvin fight?
Who did Marvin fight? This guy is very disrespectful, okay? And the funny thing about that is that he's only disrespectful, to black fighters at the end of the day. Okay, this is same thing with Joel Diaz. Okay, these guys, I don't know what's going on with these guys, but they know nothing about boxing, and nobody should listen to anything they have to say. But the problem is that these guys go on, on these shows, and they use their position as trainers, and people. A lot of people who really don't know much about boxing might listen to these guys and, actually take what they're saying, as some kind of, truth or facts when it's not. It's totally the opposite. Okay. Now, I can just imagine, how many people before the Crawford fight listened to Abel Sanchez talk about the fight and bet their money and Canelo and lost their money. This guy probably cost a lot of, with his advice about boxing, which is terrible advice. He's a terrible trainer. Okay, so he probably trained a lot of these guys to lose. I mean, basically that's what they do. They train people to lose at the end of the day. Luckily Triple G was a good fighter and was able to overcome whatever this guy was telling him. I personally believe that if Triple G had a different trainer, a better trainer than Abel Sanchez, his career would have lasted much longer and he would have been much better. Okay. Because these guys, they don't really want to fight anybody, okay? They don't fight. They don't want their fighters to really fight any real competition. They give them padded records and they give them easy fights and those type of things to make them look good. Which is why Abel Sanchez never fought, Andre Ward. He never. Why? Because he said Andre Ward was boring and that didn't do nothing for Triple G's career. And why fight? A guy like Andre Ward, he said the same thing about Crawford, that Crawford should retire because why take a chance and fight again and look bad? So you can see the mentality that these guys have. They have losers mentality. They don't want to, let their fighters, dare to be great. Okay, they're worried about protecting, their fighters. I mean, which is nothing wrong with protecting your fighter, but you can't. You're going to protect him from from his legacy, from becoming a great fighter. So yeah, I don't want to go too long with this. I just want to bring it out to let you people know what's going on with this guy Abel Sanchez and the nonsense he's talking. It's a total disgrace to boxing. Okay, and like I said, if he has any ounce of integrity in him, he would go back on Marcus Villegas and give a profuse and repentant apology for the nonsense that he was talking. So with that said, people, I'm going to leave it there. This is TBE Boxing saying, I'm out.
Canelo threw a left hook to the body that Crawford blocked, went for the head control, and responded with a short uppercut. Canelo followed with a right to the body that Crawford blocked again, countering with another uppercut, then blinding Canelo with his lead hand to stab him in the body with a left hand. Canelo responded with a left body shot that Crawford turned slightly so it hit his back and countered with a left hand. He pushed Canelo to create distance and got off his uppercut before Canelo could even land his right to the body. Crawford rolled the oncoming left hook to the body and countered with a 4-punch combination as he blocked Canelo's right hand before pivoting away. Boxing genius.